Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, back with another Canadian benefit update for you. And this is just a quick video to let you know that the 10th application period for the Canada Recovery Benefit opens up this Monday, February the 15th. This is the 10th period in which you can apply out of 26 periods that you could potentially apply in, but each individual person can only apply to a maximum of 13 times. So if you were to apply from the beginning of this benefit, that's going to be ending very soon at the end of March. As of right now, we don't really know whether or not the government is going to extend this benefit or create something new to help continue to support people after this March 29th end date for many people who've been applying since the beginning. But if you want to keep up to date with that, with all the new information that's coming down the pipeline and information to help us decide whether or not we think it's more or less likely that this could be extended, keep an eye out for videos that have the tag CRB extension with a question mark. Any video that you see on this channel with the CRB extension tag that looks like this means that there's been some sort of new information that could lead us to believe this is either more likely or less likely, or we've gotten some new information from the government. So stay tuned for that. And also, I'm just realizing I haven't liked this video for the YouTube algorithm yet. Make sure to do that on this one too. But as I like to do anytime there's a new application opening up, I like to go over all of the news and all of the new information that's come out over the past 2 weeks since the last application period, because I recognize not everybody has the time to watch every single one of my videos that are coming out. So if you only have time to watch one video every 2 weeks, this is the one to watch, because we'll be going over every single topic on a surface level, and I'll give you links down there in the description so you can find the videos you're more interested in. And this has been a huge week for benefit news, with the creation of new benefits in certain provinces, as well as changes for the repayment process for all of these benefits from the past. So you're going to want to make sure to watch all the way to the end of this video to make sure you're not missing anything. First off, we talked about a change at the CRA, and it's a change about something that you've probably experienced if you've ever tried to call in: the wait times. In recent months, these wait times have gotten pretty long depending on when you're planning on calling in, and people have been waiting hours on the phone just to have their call disconnected. So there have been some problems for a while here with the CRA's phone line. But the CRA, or the Canada Revenue Agency, just put out a statement over the past 2 weeks to let us know that they're working on the problem and they have a plan going forward. It seems that they're extending the hours in which they're available for you to call in and actually reach a CRA agent, and that extension will be coming very soon. And also, they're bringing in a new element which allows you to call in, and instead of waiting in line, they'll give you a message that says, hey, we've got your number, we're going to call you back when it's your turn in line. So it seems that gone are the days of sitting on the phone for hours and hours, at least once they get this system up and running. Then there was the first ever, at least in my knowledge, CERB related lawsuit that was scheduled to be filed. This lawsuit was about the whole CERB repayment issue, in which people were told that they could apply based on their gross income, and then the CRA went back on their word and said, hey, you can apply based only on your net income, so you're going to have to pay back all this money. Obviously, people were upset, and the lawsuit came because of that. You can check that individual video out if you want more details on it, but what's really important about this is that it may have prompted a quicker response from the government about how they're going to handle this issue, which is news that also came out this week, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. Next on the channel, we talked about something that isn't entirely CRB related, so I'll keep this short, but it's essentially about one of the things I hate most in Canada, and that is the ability for sketchy companies to charge people high interest rate predatory loans. So if you want to learn more about how that's a tool that's sort of used to keep poor people poor, then check out that video. Then we talked about some new forms that are available for every single person who has received a benefit over the course of the pandemic. Now, these forms are going to be used to file your taxes this year, so it's something you're going to want to know about. They're called either the T4A form or the T4E form, depending on which benefit you applied to and how you applied for that benefit. Now, these forms are going to be essential for you when you go to file your taxes this year, because what they do is they show you how much the government believes you've received in benefits. So you're going to want to check this form to make sure that your records line up with theirs. Also in this video, we cover a $190 rebate that many people in British Columbia are going to be receiving when it comes to their car insurance. If you're not from BC, you might not know that BC actually has a publicly funded and a publicly run car insurance program. And because of the pandemic, people have been staying home, not having as many crashes, less insurance claims, and that company has made a lot of money as a result. Now, since it's public and it's run by the government, they're able to actually give some of these profits back to to the people, and that's what they're doing with this $190 car insurance rebate. So it's interesting to learn about the benefits of having something like that publicly run versus the private companies in many other provinces. Then we got one of the biggest pieces of benefit-related news that we've gotten in a very long time, and it has to do with the debt that many people owed to the CRA because of the CERB repayment issue. And the government actually did a 180-degree flip on this and changed their stance completely, and now actually the CRA is going to be giving money back to some people who repaid before this announcement was made. Totally contrary to their position even just as of a month ago, the government came out and said, hey, we recognize the CRA was the one that made the mistake in many cases. We're going to be working with people to prove that maybe they will not have to pay back $14,000 after being deemed ineligible because of the whole net gross income issue. But there was also information that came out at exactly the same time that applies to every single person who's received any sort of benefit since the beginning of the pandemic. And this is a change to the tax that you're going to be required to pay on these benefits. Now, you're still going to have to do your income taxes, and you're still going to have to file them on time as you would in any other typical year, but there is one change. They're going to be giving you a 1-year interest-free period in which if you don't pay your taxes, you're not going to be penalized. In essence, what this does is it gives people a 1-year delay on making any sort of tax payments so long as they've received at least one benefit since the start of the pandemic. Now, this is great news for a lot of people who haven't been planning to pay the extra money that many people will be required to because of the extra income they've received from receiving these benefits this year. So it will be a huge help because people will be able to do their taxes, see how much they owe, and then have a full year in order to plan to have that money to pay the government when the time comes. Again, there are a whole bunch of new details when it comes to this, so I'd really recommend checking out that video if you didn't see it when it came out initially. And also, we did a 1.5-hour live stream where I answered a whole bunch of questions, and we actually covered live the Prime Minister's announcement of this, so if you want to hear it right from the horse's mouth, you can check out that live stream as well. Then we covered a story that I've been researching for a while, and I didn't even realize there was this much drama going on in Canada right now when it came to the airline industry. Now, there's evidence in here that there could have been some backroom deals done to try to get certain airlines to do certain things that the government wants them to do. So if you're interested in following that sort of big business drama, check out that video. Next up, we covered the official press release from the CRA regarding these changes to both the tax sort of delay that we just talked about, as well as the CERB repayment issue. Now, this is the exact wording that the CRA is using, so we got some new additional details when it comes to that story. So if it's important to you, I'd recommend watching that video after you're done the first one on that topic. It seems like they're going to handle a lot of this on a case-by-case process, and if we know anything about how quickly the CRA can process things and how quickly these government bodies can handle some of these issues when it needs to get down to these fine details of a case-by-case, person-by-person basis, it makes me wonder how quickly they're actually going to be able to determine whether or not someone needs to pay it back or doesn't need to. So we'll have to watch how that develops in the coming months. Next up, if you don't already know, my full-time job is as a realtor in the Greater Toronto area, and there was recently a statement that came out from BMO's economist that said, hey, Canadians want to pay more for housing simply because it's a national pastime and we've accepted that in our society. Now, I don't entirely agree with that being the reason we've seen real estate prices balloon so much over the past while, so if you want to hear my take on exactly what I think is the real reason for this huge unprecedented growth in this area, locking many people out of the market and making it more and more difficult for first-time buyers to get in, you're going to want to check out that video. Then we got news of a brand new $1,200 benefit that was just created this week. Now, this is only for people who live in Alberta, but I'd recommend you watch this video even if you're from a different province, because I go in and I take a look at a very interesting tool that shows you how each and every single province has spent their additional pandemic money and how much of that has actually gone to the consumer's wallet and how much of it's gone to different tax rebates or different kinds of services and different spending on a province by province basis. Now, this new $1,200 provincial benefit for Alberta is called the Critical Workers Benefit, and it's the way that the government is going to sort of support Canadians who have been working all this time. For many people who work in the private sector as well as Alberta's public sector, you're going to be able to apply for $1,200 as sort of a bonus and a thank you for working throughout the pandemic while some people have been on benefits. Now, there was a little bit of controversy around this because many people thought, hey, you have a job, why should they be spending more money on you when I've been trying to find a job and I've been on these benefits all along? Now, of course, to that, many people would reply, well, like, we've been working this whole time and you've been able to collect these CRB checks, the CERB benefits, and we've been working and making just barely that amount, if not less, so shouldn't we deserve a little bit of help too? No matter where you stand on the issue, I'd recommend watching that video so you can get more details on what this benefit is and join in on the discussion in the comment section. Then we covered a way that you could potentially save thousands, and that's by thinking about and improving your credit score. Now, there's not a lot of education of this in the Canadian education system, and I really think that the education system has failed us when it comes to financial intelligence, but in this video I show you exactly what makes up a credit score and how you can rather quickly build your score up to a near perfect score, saving you thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run, depending on your situation. And finally, we covered some new information when it comes to whether or not it's more or less likely that the CRB could be extended come that deadline of March 29th, I believe. Now, this information was about a provincial official in Prince Edward Island making statements that they were actively planning for the end of benefits come March, and how they were going to try to create more jobs for people to move into because they think that these benefits are going to be ending for good. Again, remember, over the coming weeks and months leading up to this deadline, anytime there's more information like this, you can look out for that CRB extension tag at the start of the video, and you can sort of sift through the videos to find out what information has become available and whether or not it makes it less or more likely that this is actually going to be extended, because as I reiterate, the government hasn't let us know yet what's going to be happen for this group of people who are going to be essentially cut off from all benefits at the end of March. Again, that's if they've been applying for every period since the start of the CRB. And that covers everything for this week. If you found this video interesting, make sure to send it to a friend who could also benefit from the information. And also, if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, as well as liking this video to tell YouTube, hey, I want to keep on seeing this sort of stuff, and I value this Canadian-focused information, which I feel like is lacking here on YouTube just a little bit. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video has helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.